What's up, guys? I hope you're having a great start to your week. Today actually marks the first day of my 12-week lean bulk series, going on a full-on bulk finally. Quick overview of today's video. First, I'm going to be going through a full physique update with you, measurements, where I'm at, what I've been doing. Then we'll move on to our goals. How much are we trying to gain per week? What weight would we like to end up at? Then we'll move on to the plan, how many calories we want to be taking in, and then some potential changes down the road. And finally, just cover some general lifting and cardio guidelines, as well as some bulking and nutrition tips I've just found really useful in getting in those extra calories, and just the overall mindset you should have during a bulk compared to a cut. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Comment, like, and subscribe if you do, and let's get to it. All right, guys, so here is the in-body scan. Again, if you have one of these around your area, highly recommend it. You can usually find it somewhere, if not at your gym, at a local nutrition shop. But here you can just see I weighed in at 210 pounds, 113.8 pounds of skeletal muscle mass, just lean muscle tissue. It marked me at 15.2 pounds of fat, but at 7.2% body fat, and I just know that's not right. I'm assuming I'm somewhere around 10% just based off of the look. And then this just tells me that my left side is like 0.3 pounds bigger on my left arm and my left leg, which I've known for a little while. I can see it physically. I've already been addressing it, but I'm just going to continue to address it and hopefully see improvements through here. So when it comes to referencing the body scan, here, obviously we're going to see the body fat percentage go up, but ideally we'll be seeing that go up as little as possible while the muscle mass is moving up as well. I just really like these because it's so easy and it tells you a lot. It's just a little bit more detailed than just having your weight and measurements to go off of. Those will do just fine, don't get me wrong, those will do just fine. It's just if you can have this too, it really helps. Alright guys, now for the measurements. So if you don't already have one, get yourself a journal, put down your measurements, take down the ones that are important to you. So for me, sorry, get too close there. For me, I'm going to just be worrying about chest and back, my right and left arm, right and left leg, right and left calves. I'm not going to worry about my waist. It's probably going to go up or stay the same. It's really not the concern when you're bulking. That's something we're more concerned about when we're cutting. So no point in worrying about it. Not only are you going to use this to track your progress through your weights and your measurements, but use it to track your weights if you don't have some sort of app or use your phone. Have a journal. I personally like to keep some things like that in writing. But yeah, point is just track your stuff. All right guys, so I'm about to get the measurements going. I've asked my lovely assistant Gina to help me out with this. If you guys don't know, if you're new to the channel, this is my fiance Gina.
He loves me.
All right, so let's start with my right arm.
17.
Exactly 17?
17 and a quarter.
17 and a quarter. I need to get my journal. Okay, left arm.
Exactly 17.
Exactly 17? Mm-hmm. Really?
Oh, there we go. 17 and a half.
17 and a half, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the in-body scan says my left side's bigger, so I was going to be surprised if it...
I didn't have it on exactly the middle of your tricep.
Shoulders, so just like around...
52 and a half.
52 and a half?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now for the thighs. So I'm gonna go right above the center of my thigh, just because I have, yeah, just the biggest part of my thigh, especially because I have a freckle I can use.
24. Yeah.
24.
You have stepped up your game. Mine's at 21.
I know, it's bad. Well, my left leg's about to be bigger.
24 and a quarter.
24 and a quarter? That surprises me because my left leg is just noticeably bigger. Okay, so now for the little calves here.
Little babies.
Get around that biggest spot. What are we at?
15.
Exactly 15. Yeah, get it exact on it. Give me anything I can get.
15.
Exactly 15?
Exactly 15.
All
You
right.
just accept it.
All right, 15 inches on my right. Let's see what I am on the left. My left is definitely bigger. You can just see it.
15 and a half.
Jeez.
Hey, Sage.
Whole half-inch bigger on my left calf. Almost forgot about chest and back.
45 and 3/4.
45 and 3/4.
Ew.
45, sorry, I'm sweaty. 45.75 inches. All right, let's improve. It's gain season.
Ew, it's so wet.
Sorry. All right, guys, so welcome to the informative part of the video. First things first, life update. Keep watching even if you don't care about my life. This is just to give you a little bit of context into how I'm transitioning into the lean bulk. And this is really important because you don't want to come out of a full-on cut, let's say, like for example, I prepped for the Summer Shredding Classic, got really shredded for, that took me like 4 months to do, 3 to 4 months. And yeah, you don't want to just throw in tons of extra calories and just add excess fat, right? So my plan was to just keep up my intermittent fasting, but just to ensure I wasn't going crazy, And of course I kept up cardio, 20 to 30 minutes, 5 to 6 days a week, and just steadily tapered that down. So yeah, I know that I've personally been taking in around 3,000 to 3,500 calories. So that's gonna be around my starting point. No matter what we figure out my calories should be for bulking, we want to start off at something we know we can hit. For all we know, we could still be adding a little bit of size at those maintenance calories just because your metabolism is a little slowed down from cutting or something. But yeah, if you already know you've been at maintenance, let's say 3,000 calories, 2,500 calories, then yeah, you can go ahead and just bump it up into a surplus and start bulking. But if you've been cutting at, let's say 2,000 calories, you probably don't want to just jump all the way up to 3,000 calories. You might end up adding a little bit more extra fat than you'd like. Start off at 2,250 to 2,500 calories and steadily work your way up. How much really is just going to depend on, how likely you are to put on fat, just based off of what you know about your body. For me, I've always been somebody skinnier. I don't put on fat that easily, so I tend to go for the higher surpluses. If you're similar, I definitely recommend the same thing. Okay guys, so now super important, something everybody seems to leave out, or at least most people, is just setting the goal. Give yourself a deadline, give yourself a specific time frame that you need to commit to and end up right around your goal by that time, which is why I like to give a little bit of a range at the weight, because you want to be like right in your goal. So if you're within that range of your goal, it's psychological. You're gonna feel a lot better as opposed to if you set a very, very specific goal, let's say 20 pounds, and then you only lost or gained 18 pounds, right? It's like you're still gonna feel a little bit of failure as opposed to being like, I just wanna gain 15 to 20 pounds, and then you're in that range and you're like, yeah. So that's what I like to do. So our official start date is gonna be October 22nd. It's this coming Monday. So today is Thursday the 18th. I'm putting it on Monday, so hopefully a good amount of people can watch this video, start it up with me. So me too, I'm just maintaining right now. I'm not really trying to push for a bulk till Monday because I really want to do this along with you guys. So mark that Monday, do everything I've already done, take your measurements, get all your reference points to see where you're at, and start setting your goals with me, okay? So I'm starting off at 210 pounds, right? 12 weeks. The end date is gonna be January 14th. It's slightly over 12. It's just that Monday after the 12 weeks. So that's the day I want to compare the weights, right? So for me, I would really, really be happy For me, my goal is 220, right? I would like to gain about 10 to 12 pounds throughout these 12 weeks. So my personal goal range is going to be aiming to hit 216 to 220 pounds within these next 12 weeks. So like I said, I really want to hit 220. That's a personal record for me. I've never hit that size before. So, you know, if I end up at 216, I might just prolong the bulk a little bit to hit that goal. But as long as I'm within this range, then I'm going to be happy. So to reach that goal in 12 weeks, I have to be gaining half a pound to a pound per week. All right, so this is where your body type is going to come into play. Like I was saying earlier, if you tend to hold on to more fat, you're already kind of heavier, then I recommend sticking to that lower range, which is really just going to mean that you're only going to go into a 250 calorie surplus as opposed to the 1 pound, which would be more like a 500 calorie. I know that's really sloppy, but 500 calorie surplus. I'm about to put it up all nice. Yeah. But yeah, so if you're aiming for that lower end, 0.5, 250 calorie surplus, aiming for the higher end, you know, you're already a skinnier individual or just don't add fat that easily, go for the full 500 calorie surplus, 1 pound per week. Okay, so how many calories do we start at? Super simple equation. Just take your body weight in pounds times 14 to 16. So this number is just going to depend on your daily activity level. You know, if you're up on your feet all day, like you have a pretty demanding job, then you need that 16, you need those extra calories because you're burning so much regularly throughout the day. On the other hand, if you're just sedentary all day, you'd go 14. And this is, again, just to give you a solid starting point. You can always adjust from there. All right, guys, so for me, being 210 pounds, I multiply by 16. Something I forgot to mention is you don't just need this number if you're very physically active. You know, if you just know you have a faster metabolism, you can use that number too. So yeah, I just know I have a fast metabolism, so I multiply by 16, and I got 3,360 calories. Just round that up to 3,400, and that would be my maintenance. All right, so I went ahead and just bumped that up even more to 3,500. Just simplicity, and I know my body. I know I need a little bit extra calories to grow, especially at this point, being a lot closer, or at least the closest to my natural potential I've ever been. So 3,500 calories is about my maintenance, right? If I want to be gaining about a half pound a week, that'd go up 250 calories to 3,750. And if I want to be gaining a pound a week, I'd go at 4,000. No matter what, I'm going to start week 1 at these maintenance calories just to establish my routine and really see if that is my absolute maintenance. So first week, stick with your maintenance calories, especially if you've never done this before. It's helpful to know what your maintenance is. So I'm going to stick to 3,500 calories that first week and see how my weight adjusts. You know, if you stay the same, then you're perfect. That's your maintenance. Boom. Go up based on how you want to grow and your body type. If you're already going up half a pound to a pound, all right, there you go. You're already in your bulk phase. If you went down half a pound, then you're definitely going to need to bump up at least 500 to be in that 250 surplus, or even the full 750 or a full 1,000 to get up into that 1 pound gain per week range. All right, so next I've just constructed a general outline of how I think this whole progression is going to go. So week 1, I want to start at maintenance. I want to just be in that routine, know I'm at my maintenance. And then that next week, I just want to bump up the full 500 to 4,000 calories so I can start getting in that 1 pound gain per week range. And ideally, you know, wait for my camera to focus, sorry. So ideally, we'll be able to maintain that 4,000 calories for those first, you know, 4 weeks or so, 3 or 4 weeks or so. Once you see that the amount gained is going down, especially if it goes below that half pound, then you can go ahead and bump it up another 250 to 4,250 calories, right? So ideally, you know, we won't have to do that till week 5 or maybe even later, just it totally depends. But if you find that that happens earlier, you know, let's say week 3, you're already down, you're only gaining half a pound or even under that or whatever, then you can go ahead and bump it up sooner. But yeah, so then I just general plan, right? So maintenance, first week, week 2, bump it up to the full 4,000 for a pound per week. Have it planned for week 5 to go up 250 just as a natural progression. You know, as your body adjusts, as you gain some muscle, your metabolism goes up and you need more food to grow. And then in that 9th week, we'll go up another 250 to 4,500, assuming we don't need to go up earlier. All right, guys, the last portion of nutrition, we're going to cover the macro setup. So the number one important thing here is going to be that you hit your protein goal, which should be about 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, which for me, and it's going to be the body weight that you want to achieve. So for me, that's 220 grams. That comes out to 25% of my overall calories. That number is usually, like, this is for if you're inputting it into MyFitnessPal. That's going to come out to anywhere from 25 to 35% of the overall calories. Next, we have carbs. I definitely recommend getting more of your calories from carbs. It's just going to really fuel your performance in your workouts, which can just lead to more gains. So that comes out to 50% for me. That's just what I like. 60% is a little bit too much. I feel bloated. 40% is not enough, so figure that out for yourself. Comes out to 440 grams total, so like 60% would be a lot. Okay, it's over 500 grams of carbs. The only time I really take that much in is loading up for a show. So yeah, 440 grams is good for me. And then fats is going to be down at 15 to 25%. I went with 25%. Fats are double the calories of carbs, so getting in some fats can really be beneficial. That comes out to 100 grams of carbs. Now, don't stress yourself out too much with hitting these two numbers, the carbs and the fats, like super close. Obviously, it's great if you do. Don't stress yourself out about it. Hit the protein goal, hit the calorie goal, and you're good to go. All right, then I'm just going over some quick lifting guidelines, more just kind of your focus through your lifts. I'm not going to go too detailed, but just the general mindset you should have. I certainly like to focus strength a little more when I go into a bulk, you know, just a little heavier lifts. Like, you still lift heavy when you're cutting, but obviously you aren't training to gain strength, right? So strength training, sticking into those lower, you know, anywhere from 3, even 1 rep to like 5 to 6 reps is definitely more common in my training when I'm bulking. Obviously you want to be tracking weights. You should be, no matter what your goal is, but tracking weights is especially important when you're bulking because you need that progressive overload. And when I say overall volume, I mean reps times sets times weight. So anytime you're going up in weight on those heavier lifts or moderate range lifts and even the lighter lifts, you're adding the overall volume you're able to inflict on your muscles, therefore increasing your growth. So of course, when you're training for strength, that's going to mean you need a little bit longer rest. I really don't take over 2 minutes rest unless I really need those 3 minutes. But yeah, your rest time is definitely going to be longer. You know, hypertrophy, it's more like a minute to a minute and a half, and your endurance is more like 30 to 45 seconds. And you're going to want to switch between those two, but generally stay, you know, in the minute to 2 minute rest, and in those like 6 to 12 rep range is where you want to sit most of the time, but then still shift down to the heavier weights, still shift up into the lighter weights. I will make a video going more in depth on that, but just wanted to quickly mention that. Take more rest days if you need to. That's huge, guys. Honestly, like, if you're really, let's say you're hitting your calories and like you really just, there's no way you're going to put more food into your belly, force feeding yourself, then take more rest days. You know, reduce your expenditure. That can really help. And then auto-regulate, another huge one. You know, if we're focusing a little bit more on strength lifts and whatnot, it's very likely that your central nervous system will get fatigued. So if you have a strength day planned and you're feeling pretty fatigued and tired already, don't go and hit your strength day, guys. Go for a more hypertrophy or just lighter kind of recovery focused day if you need to. But yeah, don't go for the full heavy lift that's like you're not going to get anything out of because your central nervous system is already taxed. You can go for those lighter, moderate lifts to still do some damage on your muscles without just completely taxing you. All right, then quickly I'm going to cover some cardio guidelines. I know what you're thinking, like, what, cardio, dude, bulking? Like, I don't need to do that shit. I really do recommend you do a little bit of cardio throughout your bulk just because it's healthy, guys. Like, it's really good for your cardiovascular health. Don't be a statistic, okay? So, few options. Really just, you can do what you prefer. I definitely recommend throwing in some HIIT just because it can help you build some power, which is beneficial to strength, you know, can potentially lead to some more size, but really it's personal preference. So your preferred steady state cardio, whether that's just walking on an incline, stair stepper, going for an actual jog. I just like to do 10 to 15 minutes 3 to 4 times per week. You can do more, just keep in mind that's more you're expending, you know, more you might have to eat, and when bulking that gets pretty hard. So yeah, I mean, you can pick either one of those two or maybe mix and match or whatever, but point is just do a little bit of cardio. Don't do too much if it's making it impossible for you to grow and hit the calories you need. Okay guys, so this leads us to my 5 top tips for bulking. The first one being eat right away when you wake up in the morning, okay? As soon as you get up, drink a solid 16-20 ounces of water, and then get in something small. You know, if you can't eat a full-on breakfast right away, get in an apple, get in some Greek yogurt, get in a protein bar, just something you can put down right away. And I'm telling you, after a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks of doing this, you're gonna program yourself to just wake up hungry, wake up ready to have that first meal or snack or whatever. So you should eventually be able to have a full-on breakfast right when you wake up, and that is just gonna make it easier for you to hit your calories throughout the day. Which leads us into my next tip, which is try to eat 4 to 6 meals. I mean, you can eat less than that. It's gonna make it harder. Like if you can really fit in those huge meals, you know, like for me, even just starting out at maintenance, you know, at 3,500 calories, I'm gonna have to eat over 1,000 calories per each meal if I was just having 3 meals. So 1,250 calories to be exact. And me, I can't eat those giant meals like that. It just, like, I don't feel good, so that's just not for me. If you can do that, that's great. Like I said, like hitting your calories, that's the #1 goal, fine. I've just found splitting it up into some smaller meals 4 to 6 times throughout the day has really helped me. Next, you want to start at the calories you can actually hit. You know, a lot of people, they just try to jump into that full-on bulk level calories, and like if you start out not being able to hit it, you're just going to lose that momentum and back off real quick. So I just really recommend starting at something you can hit and then steadily working up from there. Number 4 is going to be calorie dense foods, guys. Too many times I've had somebody reach out to me and be like, dude, I can't bulk, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, what are you eating? Or like they say they can't hit their calories. I'm like, okay, what are you eating? They're like, chicken and rice. I'm like, well, that's why, man. Like that's what you do when you're cutting, because it's lower calorie and high volume. It fills you up. You don't want to be full when you're bulking, honestly. Like you want to have very dense foods. I'm actually doing a full grocery haul on that, so I'm not going to go too into it. It's already recorded. It's going to be up later this week, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, you want more calorie dense foods, guys, and with that leads me to my final tip, which is the 80-20 rule. Because as we all know, you know, some fast foods, some bad foods are going to be the most calorie dense foods we can consume. So having that 80-20 split, that's not going to make us unhealthy. You know, 80% clean, 20% dirty. It's not going to make us unhealthy, but it's going to allow us to get in the calories we need. So finally, with all this being said, I just want to leave you with one thing, and that's that calories are the most important goal here. So in my mind, it's like if I know, you know, the end of the day is approaching, I'm like, damn, I'm not going to hit my calories. I will get something out to eat, whether that's on the healthier end of Subway and Firehouse or Chipotle and just loading it up, or just full on going for the pizza or Whataburger that's 2,000 calories. It just depends on how behind on calories you are. But honestly, that's what I recommend. Like if you're really trying to add muscle, you got to get the calories in. So if you got to eat out, you got to eat out. Just do what needs to be done. So yeah, guys, that does it for this video. Really hope you enjoyed it. Comment, like, subscribe if you did. And I'll see you next time for the grocery haul.